Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
You know what I thought would be pretty cool?
What?
If I rolled underneath you while you're doing this floating, meditation thing, and see how that kind of like we burble hop in the wind tunnel, how we hop over each other. But I'm just gonna go under you.
Oh, okay, sure. Why not?
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do it on three. 1, 2.
Wait, roll on three or?
I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, roll, and then I'm gonna roll. Does that sound pretty good?
That sounds good.
All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, roll. That was pretty good.
That was really good. That was
I
really
like it.
cool.
Hey guys, James Sane here. So today's video is going to be about how to make somebody float. And then additionally, I'm going to roll underneath the person floating. Alright, some things that you need before you start the video. You do need a tripod, or you need a way to make your camera steady and not move. So you really do need a tripod. Number 2, you need to have consistent lighting. I had tried to do this outside, out on the back deck, shooting from multiple angles. The problem is the sun kept moving in and out of the clouds, and then because you'll end up masking out the person will be floating on something. So they'll either be on a coffee table, a chair, a stool, something that you're going to green screen and mask out. And then you need a clean plate. You need an empty recording without the chair or whatever it is they're floating on, so that when you mask out the chair, in this case a bar stool, when you mask out the bar stool, you have a clean plate, a clean recording of what should be there, and you need consistent lighting on it. So when I first did this outside, sometimes you're out there, you don't even realize that the sun's moving behind the clouds, and it's just too obvious that the light's changing. So number 2 is that you need consistent lighting, and number 3, that nothing in the scene needs to move or change. So if you're outside and the wind's blowing anything, you can't have flowers or trees or brushes moving. You can't have inside, you can't have anything moved within the scene. You can't have a cat magically walk in and appear, pop in the video all of a sudden. So it's a dead giveaway. So you need to have a controlled environment where nothing changes once you start filming. Now you could film one consistent long take, or you could start and stop multiple takes. You could do, like I did one take with my wife where she had her hair up in a ponytail, and then I did 3 takes with her hair down. But I did it in one long continuous take. And also at the beginning I filmed what's called a clean plate. The chair that she's sitting on, I took it out and filmed, so that I have some blank video of nothing on. And then at the end, just for safety's sake, I did a clean plate filming for about a minute when we were done. I shot the scene with one key light. There are 2 windows in the scene that I'm shooting in the house, and I made sure that my key light was stronger than the windows, so that if the light was changing in the windows, it was overpowered by the key light, so that I had consistent lighting. So let's get to the videos and show you how this is done. Alright, so in Premiere Pro, I've got my completed version here. I'm going to make a new sequence, file, new sequence. I'll just take the default that it pops up with. It's off. I'm going to put it on the screen where you can be, where you can see it. And I'll say OK to that, and I'll just change it when I pop in my get my taskbar out of the way so I can see. So I can say OK. My taskbar back down. Alright, so we'll work on this sequence, and I'm going to bring in the film clip. I'm going to change my sequence settings so that it matches this here. So here on this video, I have what's called clean plate. And so what I would do, until I walked into the scene, let me make this a little more compressed. So there's about where I walk into the scene. So I'm just on my keyboard. For Windows and Premiere Pro. For Windows and Premiere Pro, I hit the C on the keyboard. That I can cut the clip, V to go back to my pointer, and then I'm going to rename these clips so it doesn't get confusing, because it was all one long continuous shot. If you do shoot multiple shots, just make sure either you have a remote to stop and start your recording, or because if you touch it with your finger, you could end up shifting the camera a little bit, and you need your scenes that you're stacking on top of each other to match exactly, or you have more work to do in post-production. So now I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to say I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call this a clean plate. Let me compress this a little more. And so I walk around, get the lighting. I bring in the chair, and I'm going to use green screen, and I'm going to use masking. So what I really care about is when I green screen this out. And so because it's a 3D object, I have a green tablecloth wrapped around the object. What I want is to green screen closest to where my wife is sitting, so that I don't have to tediously mask around it. If it's just gone with the green screen, and then I will make the rest of this bottom 4/5 disappear with masking. So this is just some setup. Alright, and then so what we're doing, the concept is she's sitting there like yoga meditating, and then I walk in and say, hey, I want to roll underneath you, let's try that. And so the way to make it more realistic, I recorded this on my iPhone, my audio as I'm talking to her, because I walk in and I sit down. Oh, I need to put this part in there. So I walk in. Spread this out a little bit. Gonna crop this in here because this is the part where I pretend where I'm talking to her. So I walk in and I know exactly where I'm gonna put the bar stool that she's gonna sit on. And so I'm looking where I think her head is going to be, talking to her about what I want to do, and I'm recording myself onto my iPhone. I meant to record myself on iTalk because I can easily bring that into Premiere Pro, and I have a video on how to do that. A link will be in the description, or it'll be on the end card about how to sync your audio. I accidentally recorded a voice memo on my iPhone. I had a lavalier mic on me, and up under my shirt I'm wearing a dark blue shirt, so that you can't really see the lavalier mic. It's black on my dark blue shirt. And I know I should be able to get voice memo imported into a Windows 10 computer, but I'm having so much trouble with that. I just recorded on voice memo by mistake instead of iTalk. iTalk's so much easier. So I'm talking with her. Well, I'm pretending to talk to her. And I need to get to where I roll through. Make this a little more compressed, easier to scrub through. And then so I get up and walk away. And so that's the end of me talking to her. So I'm going to do C again on the keyboard key to cut that, V to go back to my my pointer tool, right click, rename. And then I'm going to rename this James Roll. Or Rule, whatever you want it to be. And then this is where we're just bringing the chair in, setting it up, putting the green tablecloth around it. Alright, so I'm just gonna bring that in. So I did like 4 takes. I did 1 take with her hair up in a ponytail, and I was playing my audio so she could hear it. And then in the second, third, and fourth take, I had my AirPod Pro, and with her hair down, covered up with her hair, so that it's more realistic. As she's sitting there, she can hear me talking to her, so she can look down at me and respond appropriately. And in this way, I think it's a little more realistic when people talk over each other just a little bit, but talk over each other appropriately. So it's easy. If she just had to memorize what I was saying and then try to respond to it without actually hearing me, that'd be almost impossible, I think, to do, to get the timing right. So whether you recorded it on your phone or some other recording device, and I could have set this by the camera, so it would be picked up by the camera. As I'm talking on the phone, the camera hears me, and she can hear me also and respond as if I'm off to her, in this case, off to her left side. Or you can use the ear pods, whatever works best for you. And then it's easy to line those two videos up in post-production because they're not happening at the same time, obviously, because I can't roll through the chair. So let's keep going. So I have here is where I'm telling her one little mistake that I did make. I said, okay, I'm going to get where it's going to play back in your ear, and it's going to start now and start in 5 seconds. And then I stepped out of the frame. I wish I had a little more time with her sitting there with me out of the frame. I'll show you, because what I wanted to do in the beginning, rather than to show her start out floating on air, I had the camera zoomed up on her face and then it zoomed out, and then you say, oh, she's floating in the air. So this first one will be her hair's up in a ponytail. Let me just come back. Okay, so we're done recording there, so I can cut that. And then right click and then say rename ponytail. So you get the point of how you can cut up your clips. Now I know I used the fourth and final clip because what we were doing, the one mistake that I made was I would say like, I'm gonna roll in 3, 1, 2, 3, roll. And I took a couple of clips before I realized when I said roll, she kind of bobbled like I was rolling underneath her, and I realized she needed to wait about a second, a literal second. So I said 1, 2, 3, roll, and then she needed to bobble. So that's why I'm going with the last clip, because I couldn't sync everything up with the audio and her bobbling a little bit with me rolling underneath her. So it was best demonstrated with the last clip. So let me get to that last clip here, or the last section of this. And I also did a clean plate at the end, so I recorded for about a minute when we were done, just to make sure I had some clean video. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that right there. I'm going to rename this. I think I already have one clean plate. So this would be clean plate 2. And then I just need to find the beginning, because now we're gonna, when I get this last clip, we're gonna take it into After Effects. We're gonna take it into After Effects and you can green screen key things out in Premiere Pro, but it's so much, looks so much better when you do it in After Effects. Alright, so I'm just going to trim this clip to here. I'm going to play it back so I can hear the audio. We have about 5 seconds before I get over there and say, hey, what's going on? So I'm starting to play now. Okay, so let me trim this up a little bit more so that I have less in After Effects, less of a file to render. Alright, so this is the final. Let me rename this, right click, rename, and then call this float. And I think this was the 4th take, so I'm going to say call it float number 4. Alright, so now I'm going to green screen out what she's sitting on. So I'm going to right click on this clip, say replace with After Effects clip. And this will open up After Effects, which is opening up on my other screen. I'll drag it over here in just a second so that you can see it as well. Oh, it's opening up over here. Alright, so we'll call this float, and I've done this a number of times. We'll call this float 5, I guess. Alright, so here she is, and I want to green screen this out. So go to your effects and presets and type in key. And you want this, there's three things to it. It's the key cleaner, advanced spill. Let me slide this over so you can. Key light, key cleaner, and advanced spill suppressor. Oh, I didn't mean to move that. Let me undo that. I'm just going to drag this onto the clip. I want to make my window a little bit bigger. And so now, as I said, the part that I want to get rid of is the color closest to where she's sitting. It would be different if you had like a green screen up and you were lighting it evenly and you do one click and almost all of it's gone. Well, there's different shades of this green because it's a three-dimensional object that I have to wrap a tablecloth around. So here under screen color, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to zoom up a little bit. Let me unclick on this. I'm going to click on my eyedropper. I'm going to come up and hold down Control to make it sample a little bit more, and I'm going to click the green right where she's sitting. Okay, so a decent start. So let's go to, let me zoom back out so we can see the whole, more of the whole better. So what I want to do is change my view from, I'm on intermediate results, I'm going to go to screen map. And then let me zoom out even a little more. And then I'll come to these screen map properties here. And I'm going to adjust the black and white. So I want to make this, what's black will disappear. So I'm going to come to the black, crank this up until that's solid and gone. I'm going to come down on the whites a little bit. Alright, so I think that's a good start right there. So we'll switch back to intermediate results. When you go to final results, I don't know why, it gives a weird little halo around the edge. So just stay on intermediate results. And then also, to get rid of any of this fringe on the edge, we're going to go down to the advanced spill suppressor, and we're going to turn that on there. And that helps just by clicking that on, and that helps with that. Alright, so this is the portion that I'm really concerned about here. That looks pretty good. I'm going to Control S to save that, and then I'm going to close this out, and this will export this back. This will export this back into Premiere Pro. Now the problem is it's not rendered, so I do have this little 1/4%, and so I want to mask out this green screen. Right now there's nothing underneath. I don't have my clean mat or the video of me, so I need video underneath here so what is masked out will show. But let's do the masking first. So let's go to this, select this clip, and go to your, looks like your pen tool, but it's the free draw Bezier. So we'll click on that, and I'm going to zoom up 400%. Let's make this a little bit larger. And then I'm going to mask out around here. Now I know that I'm going to come sit off to her left. I'm going to roll under, and then I'll be sitting on her right, just because I've seen the video. I know my head ends up really close to her right knee, so I need to make sure that my mask is really close to her right knee so I don't crop out any of the top of my head or mask out any of the top of my head. So I'm going to start here by her. Oh, my hair light just went out. I'm going to start here by your knee. And then sometimes it's hard to put, it thinks you're trying to turn or twist. So if I just click away and then drag this back up to where I want, and then click away. I don't want to mask out. She has a two-tone socks on, black and a lighter color. Doesn't have to be, I can grossly pick what I'm doing here now. So let me zoom back up to 400%, because I know my head's going to end up around here somewhere. So let me spacebar to get in my hand. Oh shit, wrong program. Spacebar moves things in Photoshop. Alright, so let me move this back up here. Click here, click here, click here. Move this back up. Now I want to be pretty close. I'm going to click out and drag this back in because I don't want to think I'm trying to alter something. And then we'll close the loop here. Okay, let me zoom back out so we can see everything. Put it on fit on screen. And then I'm going to go to invert over here under the mask properties. Invert, because this is what I want disappeared. Okay, now because I don't have a video clip underneath her, so this is blank. And this is where you need a tripod. This is where nothing in the background needs to move. This is where you need to clean plate. But in this case, I have video of me rolling under her. So let's get that video. So let me find that's a clean plate. So I could drag the clean plate, but is that to me? Is that, let me find me rolling. James roll. There I am. Okay. I don't need this, so I'm going to get rid of that portion there. I'm just going to bring these closer together so it's easy to work with. I'm just going to take this clean plate and move it down, just in case these videos are a little longer. Alright, so I'm going to move Nicole up and her audio down, and then I believe this was me. Nope, that's the clean plate. This is me rolling. Yeah, so I'm going to grab my video and I'm going to put it underneath here. So now when we get to this part, because this video is now under here, it's filled in. The masking part's filled in. Of course, if we went further, the clips aren't as long, but I haven't synced things up yet. So let's spread this out in time a little bit, give us a little more to work on. So let me find, so I know right there, I'm rolling in, hey, how's it, and I'm saying, hey, how's it going? And I know when I say, hey, how's it going, she looks over at me. So what I really need to do is find, for a minute, I'm just going to roll this in, and that's me, hey, how's it going? Let me find her looking over at me. Let me turn off my audio for a second. Alright, so she's starting to look over at me. So I'm going to roll this back to here, extend this back out as much as it was. Oh, I guess I didn't. I thought I had cut it. I didn't cut it. Let me find where I start to just walk into the frame. Instead of trimming the clip, I need to cut the clip. Alright, so that needs to be cut right there. Get rid of that portion. Alright, so now let's see. See, this is where I need my clean plate to fill in this empty portion right here. Alright, so she looked over a little sooner. I haven't said, hey, how's it going? Let me move that over just a little bit more. Alright, so she's responding. I need... Oh, I muted myself. That's the problem. Alright, I need to unmute myself.
Hey, how's it going?
Alright, so that's pretty close. She looked over just as I said, hey, how's it going?
You know what?
And I need to turn up her audio
I thought would be pretty.
because it was only recorded with the camera. So let me go to her audio gain. Put this over here where you can see it. Crank this up maybe 10. Let me turn me off for a second, see if I can hear her at all.
Okay.
Alright, so she's there. So I may have it a little loud. So, alright, and so that's how you tweak the audio back and forth. I may not have it exactly perfect, but I've got it pretty darn close. And then for this portion, this is why I say I wished I would have had longer time of her sitting there in her Zen-like pose. But for this dead space that I have here, where this is why you need your clean plate. So let me grab the clean plate. It's right there. Let's bring that in. Make sure that linked up pretty well. No gap. Stop. Okay, so now I can bring this in, or just crop it to the edge there. V to get back to my selection tool, get rid of that. And so now when I start, so that when she comes on, there's no obvious mask there.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
You know what I thought would be.
Alright, so now all I'm going to do is tweak the audio a little bit to get rid of that background hum, add some music to it. I'm going to take the first 2 seconds of the video, duplicate it, and then have that 2 seconds where I'm zoomed up on her face and then zoom out, and then that first 2 seconds will transition into the beginning of the video, so it's not apparent that I have a 2 second clip at the beginning that's a copy of the first 2 seconds of the actual video. So let's take a look at the final product.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good.
You know what I thought would be pretty cool?
What?
If I rolled underneath you while you're doing this floating, meditation thing, and see how that kind of like we burble hop in the wind tunnel, how we hop over each other. But I'm just gonna go under you.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do it on 3. 1, 2.
Wait, roll on 3 or?
I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, roll, and then I'm gonna roll. Does that sound pretty good?
That sounds good.
All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, roll. That's pretty good.
That was really good. That was really
like it.
cool.
Alright guys, thanks a lot. Hopefully you found this video interesting. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. It would really help my channel. And if you find the information useful or helpful, consider subscribing to my channel. And if you do, turn on notifications so that you don't miss when the next video comes out. Alright guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next video.